So this is kind of part 2 of our vocal editing demo. Previously we were working on this track and using Logic's flex pitch to control the pitch. When you double click on it, you see 3 tabs. Make sure you click the track tab. Sometimes, weirdly, it doesn't show you the MIDI notes. You haven't done anything wrong, it's just Logic not drawing it properly. If you hide it, show it again, and it redraws it. Don't know why, it's just a weird glitch. So we were seeing that we can move the MIDI notes around and it alters the pitch, and each one has a little handle that you can affect pitch drift, vibrato, the individual volume of that word, the formant shift as well, which changes the kind of tonality of the voice rather than the pitch of the voice. Let's have a look at Melodyne, which is the industry standard vocal or pitch correction thing. It's a plugin. I've got it loaded on at the beginning of my vocal chain here. And if I open it up, it looks kind of similar to the Logic one. Logic really just borrowed from Melodyne. So we've got a musical grid there. Melodyne has looked at the vocal and it gives us a waveform, but that waveform is split across the musical keyboard. When you click on each one, you can hear it and you can pick it up and drag it up and down the MIDI keyboard. It's exactly the same as Logic. Logic gives you a note, but this one just gives you a waveform itself. You can grab the waveform and using certain tools here, do the similar stuff that we were doing before. The only difference between them, they both do the exact same job. I find Melodyne a little bit more invisible, whereas sometimes Logic's flex pitch, you can hear it doing its pitch correction. Melodyne is a little bit more invisible when you want it to be, so it doesn't sound like the vocal has been pitch corrected. Other than that, they're exactly the same. If I click on each word, excuse me, we don't get those 6 handles that Logic gives us, but what we do get is information in the little left-hand side. So it gives us the note, it's D4, tells us that it's slightly sharp, 3/100ths of a tone, not much. Also gives us the frequency in hertz if that was useful for us. Then there's pitch modulation, which is the same as vibrato. So have a look at that little line happening there. If I bring the pitch mod down, you can see the line flattens out. And like with Logic, you've got the values from 0 to 100, but you can also go minus. So you can invert the modulation if you want, or you can go above 100 and accentuate the modulation. That can sound weird. So yeah, you've got full control over the modulation. The pitch drift, whereas Logic has drift at the beginning and end, this is a little bit more intelligent. It does both, and it knows where the pitch center is, so it can just sort that out for you if you need it. Let's just have a listen to it. Oh, my friends, you're keeping me alive. Keep me close so I don't expire. So that's wobbly, isn't it? Let's click on that one. Let's reduce the modulation down a bit. Keep me close so I don't expire. Better. and it's pretty invisible. It doesn't sound robotic. How about we change the formant, because we didn't really talk about formant before. Just going to sort the modulation because that's a bit wobbly as well. So let's bring that down a bit. And let's bring the formant down. Let's bring it down quite a lot. Can you hear there? It sort of sounds... let's do it for these two as well. Minus 1200, an octave. So that's the formant shift. You hear that a lot used in modern production, where you sort of, the vocal gets up for the shoulder like that. You can get a sort of male vocal sound. If I choose those two, alright, let's choose that one, and let's have a positive formant shift. Actually, let's leave that as negative. These are lower, so let's have a positive on that. Let's put it up 1200. So that's the Mickey Mouse thing that you get. So positive formant shifts give you that sort of Mickey Mouse. It's yeah, it's super powerful. One of the things that Melodyne can do, at the moment I own Melodyne Assistant, which is kind of the medium range one. The full Melodyne Studio version is polyphonic. The amazing thing there is, say you've got a guitar and one of the strings is out of tune, you can actually tune that string. It can pick out every single note of a chord, and you can change chords on the piano from a major to a minor, or change a guitar from major to minor keys and things like that. It's amazing. That's where Melodyne is different to Logic. So that was a little view of Melodyne, just to show you it's when people talk about Melodyne, that's what it is. Essentially, we have a basic version of Melodyne built into Logic, which is great, and that's free. But if you find that you can hear Logic and it's not acceptable, if it's too much of an obvious sound that it's been pitch corrected, you may find that if you use Melodyne on it, it's more invisible. Cool.